Angela Amati, and we're in my kitchen today making Farfalle al Salmone, bow tie pasta with smoked salmon. It is one of my favorite dishes and I can't wait to share it with all of you. So here we go. So let's get started and make this fantastic pasta. 1 large red onion, and I decided today to chop this onion in larger pieces, in half-moon pieces. I want some texture, I want crunch in this pasta dish, so I left them a little bit larger today. But if you want to dice your onion, feel free to dice it and keep it into smaller pieces. 300 grams of smoked salmon, use whatever smoked salmon that you enjoy. 1 tablespoon of unsalted butter. 1 tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil, and we're going to combine those two so they don't burn and we can saute our onions. 2 tablespoons of green peppercorns, 2 tablespoons of capers, 1/2 cup of Parmigiano cheese, 1/4 cup of white wine. I use 1 tub of herb and garlic Philadelphia cream cheese, about 1/2 cup of fresh chopped dill. Now I love using dill with smoked salmon. Whenever I can get fresh herbs, I use them in my dish. If you don't like dill, use parsley, use whatever you like, but I think in my home we always do dill, smoked salmon together. And when we use 1 can or jar of strained tomatoes and bow tie pasta. Here's 400 grams. I've already pre-cooked the bow tie and rinsed them in some cold water and tossed them in some olive oil so they don't stick. Today I decided to use a tri-colored bow tie, so there's 3 different colors just for visual purposes. I think that you eat with your eyes, so you want the dish to look gorgeous, and I think with the red onion and the salmon and the fresh dill and the variety in color in the pasta, not only will it taste delicious and have some crunch and texture, but you're going to eat with your eyes first. It's going to look gorgeous, and your guests are going to think that you have Anna Olsen herself cooking in your kitchen. So you want to heat your pan and add and melt your butter and your olive oil. And once the butter is melted, we're going to start sauteing the red onion. So the butter and the extra virgin olive oil are nice and hot. We're going to add our red onion. I just love the sound of that sizzle. And we're going to let these cook for 3 to 5 minutes. So we're just sauteing the onions for 3 to 5 minutes before we add the peppercorns and the capers. I just love this dish. The reason I started making this pasta dish is because when I was a little girl, both my parents worked quite a bit, and on Saturdays my parents would always take us to our favorite Italian restaurant in Etobicoke. And I would order the same thing every time, which was the Farfalle al Salmone, the bow tie salmon pasta. And when I got older, I wanted to make it myself. I come from a family, a long line of Italian cooks. Really inspired me at a young age to be creative in my kitchen. And my parents always taught me, you cook from the heart, you cook with what you have. And if you're going to do it, you might as well do it well. Because eating at home should be just as fantastic as eating out in any fancy restaurant. So I'm going to go ahead and add in the peppercorns and the caper berries. I want to add them in at this point because I want to extract as much flavor from them as possible. So we'll add the peppercorns. Now I'm cooking on a medium-high heat. which I will turn down later once I add the cream cheese. But right now I want to sear the vegetables and get all the flavors out of the peppercorns. Another couple minutes. Oh, I wish you could be here right now to smell how delicious this is already. Now, once you start to see little brown bits at the bottom of the pan, you know it's time to deglaze with your white wine. And that is the sound that you want to hear. So you're going to scrape all the bits and all the flavor from the bottom of the pan. And you're going to let the alcohol evaporate. And then we are going to add our tomato puree. So we're ready to add our tomato puree. Now I use a spatula because I don't want to waste anything. So now that the tomato puree is added, we're going to turn the heat down to about a medium heat, so 5 or 6 on my stove. And I'm going to let this cook until it comes to a soft boil. And then we're going to add our Philadelphia herb and garlic cream cheese. So now that this is boiling, we've added the herb and garlic cream cheese. And we're going to let this melt down. So this will take 2 to 3 minutes. And it's going to make a delicious sauce. So I turn it down right now to low. And I want it to slow simmer until it becomes rich and creamy. And then we can add our smoked salmon, our dill, our bow tie noodles. You can see as it melts, it just becomes more creamy and delicious. Oh my goodness, I'm getting so excited. I can't wait till it's dinner time. So now that the cream cheese is all melted in, I'm going to taste the sauce and see if it needs to be seasoned. Oh my goodness, it's perfect. Saltiness from the capers and the green peppercorns. It doesn't need any additional salt or pepper. So now we can move on to the next step. We're almost there. So now we're going to add the smoked salmon to warm it through. So you want to warm this through, the smoked salmon, and then we're going to add our fresh dill. Oh, just look at that gorgeous color. So now I'm going to add my bow tie pasta that's pre-cooked to the pan, and I'm going to stir until well incorporated. My favorite thing about bow tie noodles is that the peppercorns and the capers get stuck in the little crevices of the pasta, so you get a little surprise with every bite. I'm almost ready to platter the dish. I'm going to add my Parmigiano cheese. So whether or not you decide to platter your dish or have it individual, have some fun with the garnish. I put some fresh dill on this platter on top as well as in the dish. And for my individual portion, I topped it with my favorite caper berries. Now, time for the taste test. So good. It's been a pleasure sharing this wonderful recipe with all of you. Hope to see you soon. Thanks for joining me in my kitchen. Buon appetito.